Hi, welcome to my channel Rohit Speaks. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about a disease or a condition called as asthma. And there are so many people in this world suffering from this, and it has been around, and there is some effective medicine already out there. I just wanted to make people aware what's going on when you have an asthma or asthma attack, and what kind of medications are out there and how it works. So before I get into it, we need to know what it affects, and it affects the lungs in your system. So what is the function of lungs? So lungs is basically is the organ which oxygenates your blood. So when you inhale air, basically oxygen along with all other gaseous stuff, oxygen goes through the. So when you inhale it, as you can see in this video, it will go through your respiratory tube into your lungs. So this is where it goes, and then it goes into this small sacs called as alveoli, and these are connected to blood vessels around here. So when you inhale, oxygen goes through it, oxygenates your blood, and then it goes back to your heart, from your heart to your body. At the same time, used up blood or anything with the waste will go back to the heart and get back pumped to the lungs so it gets oxygenated again. So that cycle keeps going. So what is asthma? So asthma is basically inflammation of all this respiratory tube and the ducts and the piping. And there are so many reasons which I'll get into it. But basically what happens is this respiratory tube is made up of muscle called as smooth muscle. And due to some reason, some allergies or whatever it is, this normal tube gets, so as you can see, this is the diameter of it. It has to be thin enough, but when it gets inflamed, it blocks that airway. And there is mucus also going. Mucus is the one which comes out in response to bacteria or allergens by your immune system. So basically, you see how bad or how constricted that airway is. So hence, you feel like you're not able to breathe and you feel everything is heavy in your lungs. That happens when you have asthma or asthma attack. And that inflammation can flare up very easily and very quickly. It doesn't take a while. It takes a few minutes to do that attack. So what are the reasons for it? There are so many reasons for causing asthma. For example, if you're allergic to dust or pollens, as you can see in this picture, are these small thing which basically allows trees to germinate. But these are in your air. There are dust particles. There are some, for example, if you burn a lot of stuff and there is this charcoal deposits there, which are in the air, carbon deposits, which are in there, you might be allergic to that. So you are inhaling all of that inside your system. So they might get stuck, and that will cause an allergic reaction. Your immune system will start attacking it. And so what will happen is I have already talked about it, inflammation and immune system in my previous video. But basically, if this is the narrow tube, right? This is the tube and something is stuck, it will every your blood will try or your system will try to take care of it. But when it comes, it will attack everything. And now what has happened is this was this thin. Now everything has attacked and it has swollen. Now this has gone this much, and there is another one here. So the it starts narrowing, and it doesn't take a minute. Like takes less than a minute to do that. So that's what causes asthma or asthma attacks. There's so many other, even exercise based can happen where you are very constricted and you cannot breathe. Stress, there are several allergy to medications or any other thing. The worst is the genetics, where there is very hyperactivity of your immune system, even though there is a small irritant which can be taken care of, but your system produces too much of the immunoglobulin that it attacks it every time and it's always inflamed. That is chronic inflammation, which I've already talked in my previous video. So there are people who are constantly having asthma or living with asthma is because they have either hyperactive immunoglobulin system or they are constantly exposed to this allergic situation which they are not aware of. So knowledge about your system is very important. So I would suggest those who are living with asthma use a mask so that at least you know that you're not inhaling something, and use a proper mask which has a really narrow pore size or HEPA filter or something. Those are already living. And maybe you're allergic to dust, maybe you're allergic to silica. Changing your environment, changing your work area might help you. So knowing what triggers your asthma and keeping a record of it will help you understand and help you live longer. As this condition have been prevailing, there are treatments, and their treatment is a combination of things. So as I explained, what happens is this narrow tube gets inflamed and there is a mucus buildup. So there are medications which helps that. One is called as bronchodilator. Basically, it will dilate your muscle. So even though it is already too narrow, it will dilate that muscle. It will inflate, let it inflate a little bit more, so this space can increase. Other is a corticosteroid, which basically suppresses your inflammation. It brings down your whatever is inflammatory agents. It will bring it down. And then there is a monoclonal antibody against. So before I get too much technical, there are 5 types of antibody in your system. There is gamed. Remember gamed. IgG, A, M, E, and D. Okay. E is the one. IgE is the one which causes hypersensitivity or causes allergic. That's the antibody which goes up when there is allergic reaction and everything. So there are drugs out there which basically will attack that antibody and bring it down. And there is one which is already there in the market called as omalizumab, which is so anything ending with mab is basically an antibody drug. But so combination of this can help you bring down your asthma or your inflammation in your lung or your smooth muscle. So you remember from this, my takeaway is remember when you have allergic reaction, you have a high amount of IgE, and there are a couple other chemicals which goes up, and there are people who have for allergic reaction they have EpiPen or EpiPen, which basically brings down those agents and reduces your allergic reaction. But what happens in asthma is a lot of things. Even there is inflammation, mucus buildup, and then IgE level goes up. So if you're even in your system and your IgE levels are higher, you will know that there's some kind of allergic reaction going on in your system. So this is what are the current treatments available for asthma. Besides that, there is mucus part of it also, which you need to take care of. So if there is less mucus, you will cough it out. But if there is too much of your mucus, you need expectorants. You need a little bit of medication to get rid of the cough, but or mucus, not cough. There are also natural products having enough amount of ginger, honey, garlic, peppermint. They are also very useful when you're having asthma, so it can get rid of the whatever mucus is getting built up. So living with asthma is really possible. Asthma attacks can happen, and it can happen with small amount of irritant in your system and your body. Even if there is like a tiny amount of it, your body will start attacking it and will build up that. So you need to have your medication handy with you. Um, Also, jotting down what causes your asthma attacks will help you understand how your system is reacting to asthma. Uh, Mask up if you're allergic to air irritants or anything. It will be helpful for you. And combination of medication is always helpful. So talk to your doctor, try to understand how you get your asthma and narrow down your causative agents. So I hope you were able to understand how asthma attacks happen and what are the current medications for it. um, People, those who are living with asthma, you can share this video to understand what kind of issues or what kind of irritants they have in their system, or they have identified which causes their asthma, which will help them in further along their life. So with this, I would like to sign off this video, and I'll see you next week on a new topic. And if you want to learn more about asthma, please let me know so I can follow up. Or is there something I missed and you want to know a little bit more detailed about it? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.